Hey everyone, Nigel and Luke here, and welcome to Crime Zone.
Authorities in Sioux Falls, South Dakota say that a suspected DUI driver made himself extremely easy to spot this week when he crashed into a patrol car while driving on the wrong side of the road. According to reports, the incident took place at around 1:20 a.m. on January 21st when an officer from the Sioux Falls Police noticed a 2019 Jeep Cherokee driving the wrong way on 10th Street. The officer turned on his lights in an attempt to pull the 37-year-old driver over. However, the man kept right on going, crashing into his squad car. Thankfully, the man was only traveling at about 25 miles per hour at the time, and the officer was able to walk away from the crash mostly unharmed. The 37-year-old was arrested at the scene for driving under the influence as well as a handful of other traffic violations. At the time of this recording, the man's name has not been released.
Authorities in Connecticut say that a 36-year-old mother and middle school teacher is facing charges this week after a recent investigation revealed that she left her two young children at home without supervision while she went on vacation to Florida with her boyfriend. According to reports, the incident took place near the end of November of last year when Carrie Kaviaska allegedly left her two children, both of whom are under the age of 12, at home alone in their residence in the community of Watertown. Police say that during this time, Kaviaska went to Florida with her boyfriend for a trip that lasted 2 days and 2 nights. The whole situation was apparently brought to light by the children's father, who is divorced from Kaviaska and does not have primary custody of the kids. He reportedly became concerned when he found out that they had missed school and was unable to reach them. He contacted Watertown police after he sent his own father over to Kaviaska's house and no one answered the door. Thanks to text messages obtained by the father that were allegedly exchanged between Kaviaska and her kids, police found out that the two children were actually home at the time that their grandfather had come to check on them. They had reportedly been told to stay in the basement during the whole time that Kaviaska was away. Further text messages between Kaviaska and her children allegedly showed that when they asked her what they were supposed to eat while she was gone, she replied, "Just eat candy," before adding, "Whatever is downstairs, there's so much downstairs, and I'll make it up to you." According to one of the children, Kaviaska eventually ordered them food through Uber Eats. She told the kids to delete the messages between them after the conversations, though this apparently was not done. When confronted with the text messages, Kaviaska at first tried to say that she had left her brother in charge of taking care of her kids when she went away. However, when he was contacted by police, he said he didn't want anything to do with the situation. After that, Kaviaska admitted that she had left her kids alone. She was arrested on January 15th and charged with 2 counts of risk of injury to a minor and 2 counts of second-degree reckless endangerment. She was released on a $5,000 bond and is expected back in court on January 25th.
Authorities in Carter County, Tennessee say that a 25-year-old woman is facing numerous charges this week after she allegedly broke into her grandfather's house during the middle of the night and attacked him and her parents with an axe. According to reports, the situation unfolded at around 2:20 a.m. on January 18th when 25-year-old Nevada Fortson got a ride to her grandfather's house and broke in through a guest room window. The commotion was loud enough to wake up her mother, who went into the room to investigate. When she saw her daughter standing inside the room with an axe, she ran back to her own bedroom and locked the door. As Fortson entered the hallway of the home, she was allegedly confronted by her 64-year-old father, who she managed to hit 3 times with the axe before he could wrestle it away from her. Her grandfather also stepped in, getting a black eye when Fortson punched him in the face. When police were called to the scene, they arrived to find a car backing out of the driveway of the home that had 2 men inside. The men said that they had driven Fortson to her grandfather's house because she had asked them to, but were not involved in anything else that had happened. They claimed that once they had pulled up, Fortson had immediately jumped out of the vehicle, started screaming, and had run behind the house and out of sight. Neither of the men were charged in connection with the incident. Fortson was arrested at the scene and is now facing charges of aggravated assault, aggravated burglary, violating an order of protection, and resisting arrest. Apparently, the order of protection had been taken out by Fortson's mother, and this wasn't even the first time Fortson had violated it. She was arrested for violating the order just last month and has also been charged with resisting arrest, domestic assault, trespassing, and other charges. At the time of this recording, Fortson is being held at the Carter County Jail on a $130,000 bond.
Authorities in Lee County, Mississippi, say that a 28-year-old woman's plan to spring her boyfriend out of jail backfired rather ironically this week, when her scheme was uncovered and she was arrested and booked into the same jail where he was being held. According to reports, on January 11th, officials at the Lee County Jail received a fax that seemed to be from the County Justice Court, calling for the release of one of the inmates there. However, staff became suspicious after noticing some irregularities with the fax and decided to call the court and make sure it was accurate. Court staff said they had never sent the order, and an investigation was launched by the Lee County Sheriff's Office. The investigation revealed that while the fax had indeed been sent from the Lee County Circuit Court, the legitimate court fax number had been faked. A little more digging led to the alleged culprit, a 28-year-old Tupelo woman named Stephanie House, who also happened to be the boyfriend of the inmate that the fraudulent fax had been trying to release. House was arrested on January 20th and charged with uttering a forgery. According to reports, she has also since been charged with credit card fraud and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Authorities in Milwaukee, Wisconsin say that they're investigating the deaths of 6 people this week after their bodies were found inside of a home during a welfare check. According to reports, the incident began just after 4 p.m. on January 23rd when officers from the Milwaukee Police Department arrived at a home near 21st and Wright Streets to check on the residents there. They had received calls from people in the area who were worried about the house's occupants. When officers entered the house, they reportedly found the bodies of 4 men and 1 woman. A few hours later, police announced that a 6th person, another man, had also been found at the same home. At the time of this recording, few additional details are known about the case. However, it's said that police are investigating all 6 deaths as homicides. Officials say that at this time, no motive is known and no arrests have been made. However, there is not believed to be any threat to the community. The situation is currently developing.
Authorities in the city of Monroe, Louisiana, say that the suspect behind a lengthy vehicle chase offered a fairly novel reason for why he didn't pull over when an officer tried to perform a traffic stop this week. He claimed that he wanted to finish his hamburger first. According to reports, the situation began just after 11 p.m. on January 19th, when an officer from the Monroe Police Department spotted a 2006 Chevy Impala that was driving with its high beams on, making it hard for him to see the road and potentially blinding other drivers in oncoming traffic. However, when the officer turned on his lights and siren to pull the driver over and tell him to turn his lights down, the man did not stop, and instead began to lead the officer on a chase. According to the officer, the pursuit lasted for some time, during which the driver blew through at least 6 stop signs without stopping and drove 60 miles per hour in a 25 zone. The chase allegedly ended when the driver pulled up in front of his home around midnight and stepped out of his vehicle holding a hamburger. The driver was later identified as 37-year-old Alan Seabury. After being arrested and read his rights, Seabury reportedly tried a number of excuses for why he hadn't stopped earlier, including that his brakes weren't functioning properly and that he couldn't stop. However, the most ridiculous one by far was that he had just purchased the hamburger he was eating, and he wanted to finish it before pulling over. It appears that the actual reason Seabury didn't stop was far more mundane, however. His vehicle was allegedly uninsured, and he was driving without a license. Seabury was booked into the local county jail on a felony aggravated flight charge. He was also charged with 3 misdemeanors, including driving without a license and driving an uninsured vehicle. Unfortunately, there's no additional information on the burger Seabury was apparently willing to go to jail for.
Authorities in Los Angeles County, California, say that they are searching for the culprits behind a terrifying shooting this week after multiple suspects killed 4 people and critically injured 1 other during a house party. According to reports, the incident took place just before 1:30 a.m. on January 23rd at a residence in the city of Inglewood, about 10 miles southwest of downtown Los Angeles. It allegedly began when multiple unknown people began shooting at the victims using at least 2 different guns. The attack has been described as an ambush. At the time of this recording, the deceased victims have only officially been identified as 2 men and 2 women. However, there are unconfirmed reports that the 2 female victims are 20-year-old Brianna Steins and her 25-year-old sister Marnisha Hamilton. Those same reports say that the house party had been thrown to celebrate Brianna's 20th birthday. The 5th victim, who remains in the hospital, is expected to survive. While police say that the situation is still under investigation, it's believed that the victims were specifically targeted and that the incident could have been gang-related. The one surviving victim reportedly admitted to police that he was a member of a street gang. Authorities say that they are currently interviewing witnesses and canvassing the neighborhood where the shooting took place, hoping to find security camera footage that might be able to provide leads about the identities of the suspects. No arrests have yet been made.
Authorities in Pasadena, California, say that they have arrested and charged a man with the murder of a 25-year-old UCLA grad student, a little less than a week after her lifeless body was found at the luxury furniture store where she worked in Los Angeles. According to reports, the chilling daylight murder happened just before 2 p.m. on January 13th, when 24-year-old Brianna Kupfer was working at the Croft House Furniture Store on North La Brea Avenue. She had been left to work at the store alone that afternoon. At 1:36 p.m., Brianna reportedly texted a friend saying that someone inside the store was giving her a bad vibe. Sadly, the friend didn't see the message right away. And less than 15 minutes later, another customer who had just entered the store found Brianna lying on the ground, unresponsive. She had been stabbed to death. Thanks to video surveillance footage taken from a nearby 7-Eleven, police were able to identify a possible suspect within days of her murder. The man had been seen buying a vape pen at the convenience store shortly after the murder and was also seen walking around the neighborhood around the same time. The man was subsequently identified as 31-year-old Sean Laval Smith. After police released the footage of Smith at the 7-Eleven, they received a 911 call from a man in Pasadena on January 19th, who claimed that he had spotted someone who looked like the suspect. The man had seen him sitting on a park bench. Police arrived in the area a short time later and were able to find Smith near Fair Oaks and Colorado Boulevard. Though Smith allegedly gave a fake name to authorities at the time of his arrest, fingerprint analysis was able to show that it was him. Smith has now been charged with 1 count of murder, as well as a special allegation that he used a deadly and dangerous weapon to commit the crime. At the time of this recording, no motive has been confirmed behind Brianna's murder, though police say that they believe it was a random killing. Further reports allege that Smith has a history of mental illness. That's it for this edition of Crimes of the Week. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Crime Zone for more true crime content like this, making sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest releases. Thank you for watching.